Good morning. Was that an amazing word about hope? I know I have to remind myself, like, oh yeah, I need to turn up the hope level. I just wanted to restate, she said a line in there and she passed it so quick, but she said that hope is hearing the music of the future and faith is dancing to it now. And I don't have that on. Thank you. Thank you, baby. That is my son. Sorry, it really is my baby. I'm not flirting with the tech guy. That's my actual son. My, like, for real baby. I love the story about hope, and it ties in. You know how God just works this, like he's God and he knows what's going on. And I spoke with Ann yesterday, and she says, I'm talking about hope. And I said, wow. Well, my story, what I'm going to be talking about is, dear 2022, this is not what I saw. I wanted to use the story of Joseph. Now, some of us know very well the story of Joseph. Some of you saw the musical, Joseph and the amazing Technicolor coat. But Joseph was a brother of 12 total. He was number 11. Now, I don't know your family dynamic. I did not have that many brothers and sisters. And this in the Old Testament only mentioned the brothers. We don't even know if there was girls, intermittently stuck in there. So, Joseph, favorite of his dad, hated by his brothers. In fact, you can read the whole story about Joseph in Genesis chapter 37. It's a really good thing. Now, when I was in high school, I don't know what you call her. It was my stepdad's mom, so I guess it'd be my step-grandma? I don't know. Anyway, she was into General Hospital. Soap opera, 70s. Okay, it was 70s. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but in the 70s, and there was a couple in General Hospital named Luke and Laura. Right? Okay, so now, when I came home from school at 3:30, it was on TV, and so I watched Luke and Laura run from the cops, and he became a gangster. I don't even know. He curled his hair at one time. I don't know. Right? Well, then, like a couple years ago, I've not watched a soap opera in like way too many years to talk about, but I was sitting there getting my nails done, and General Hospital came on. And do you know who is still in General Hospital? Luke and Laura were still in General. Well, talk about drama. Joseph's family had a bunch of drama. We're talking about family dynamics of hate and bitterness and envy, favoritism by dad, gave him this special coat, and his brother saw it and said, I always knew he loved him more. Hey, just a side note to parents, it's not good to favor one kid over another. It just builds some really ugly stuff in there. So, no judgment. Well, a little judgment because I care about kids. But we want to be the best parents we can. That has absolutely nothing what I'm going to talk about. So, Joseph, when he was a teenager, the Bible actually says he was 17 years old. And he had two different dreams at two different times. And both of them had to do with bowing down to Joseph as being the primary person. Now, I'm trying to skip a lot of the details, so I really am encouraging you. If you want a good drama read, go ahead and read Joseph in Genesis. So he has two dreams, and it says, and his brothers hated him the more and envied him. And his dad even got involved and said, do you really think your mother and I will have to bow down to you? But secretly, in parentheses, it says, but he kept it and considered it. So it's just kind of interesting. How many of you, and I think all of us, I generalize, I do believe that all of us have dreams or a vision or something that we hold like this is a hope that I'm going to reach one day. I really believe that God is a God still of dreams. There's some very specific dreams he's giving me, and now I've had the pizza dreams too, believe me. I've had some crazy dreams. But every once in a while, there's just one that will just like wake me up and I can't shake it. And it's just there, and I'm just like, I know that was God speaking to me. Well, these kind of dreams is what Joseph was experiencing. But he's 17 years old, and so he's bragging about it, right? His brothers hated him all the more. But the story goes on, and his dad says, you know what? I need you to go out and check on your brothers they're out, doing family business, which was sheep herding. So go out and check on your brothers and then come back and give me a report. Now here's Joseph, who believes that God has given them this dream. And I want you to put yourself in his position. Now, if you know the story, you already know the end, but I want you to just back it up a little bit and put yourself in his position. He's feeling like he's doing the right thing. He's doing what dad has told him. He's going out and to check on his brothers. He knows he has this great future because he had a dream about it. Have you ever found yourself in that position? Like, God has given me this vision for my life that one day I'm going to be an Olympic swimmer. I am just going to be able to swim that freestyle just like you have to. Of course, that was not my personal dream. I've never been able to even swim like that. But whatever that dream might be. So Joseph is going out to his brothers, and I just want you to pick up the story right here, what his brothers have this conversation. Okay, if you're watching a movie, Joseph is in the distance, and the brothers are up close, and you can hear their conversation. And in verse 19, it says, "Then they said to one another, 'Look at this daydreamer is coming. Come, therefore, let us now kill him and cast him into some pit. And then we shall say, some wild beast has devoured him. We shall see what becomes of his dreams.'" Okay, back to current life, back to what does that have to do with me? I truly believe that there is an enemy that is out trying to destroy the dreams that God has put in your life. I believe that there is a force in this world that doesn't want to see goodness, love, joy, peace blossom in this earth. This is the enemy that comes against you and will tell you, what do you think about dreaming something like that? See, here's the thing, because the enemy knows, and I want you to be aware of this. The enemy knows that if he can silence your dream and stick it in a pit, then all the future blessings, all the hope that was shown into that would be silenced, and that impact wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen for the people that you're supposed to touch. It wouldn't be available for your family and the generations coming underneath of you. So there is definitely an attack. If you ever wondered, why is this so hard to get done? That's because there is a force out there that doesn't want it to happen. But I don't believe God gives vision without reason and without the ability to see it done. What the enemy means to do in ruining you and killing your dream, God can actually use to turn it around. So I'm going to paraphrase, and this is going to be Melinda's version real quick. So instead of killing Joseph, the oldest brother, who, by the way, his name actually means praise, he said, let's not kill him. Let's just put him in a pit. And they saw some salespeople, or some people on a camel who turned out to be salespeople, coming by, and they will say, instead of killing him, let's make money off of him. This is one time where greed actually worked to the benefit of Joseph, because their wanting to make money off of him was greater than their desire to kill him. P.S., God was in the middle of it. So they see this caravan coming, but I want to take us to when Joseph was inside that pit. Here's this kid, 17, maybe 18 years old now, and this is the guy that had the dreams that everybody's going to bow down to him, and now he can't see anything but dirt and a little bit of sky. What are you thinking the thoughts that might have been running through his head? I wrote down a couple of thoughts. Maybe he went into the victim role. This is probably where I would find myself. I'd probably go, why do I deserve this? I was just obeying my dad. I was doing what's right. And then how about this? What about projecting? Stupid brothers. Why do they hate me so much? Putting everything off on somebody else. Or how about blaming? I'm good at that one too. It's not my fault. It's got to be somebody else. But he could have even went, this is not what I saw in my dream. God, this is your fault. Now, we can all sit in church and say oh, I would never talk like that. I would never think those horrible thoughts. I know that God is on my side. Yeah, but when you're in a pit, sometimes you're saying those words, this is not what I saw. This is not what I expected. In Romans 8:28, which is the same chapter that Anne spoke from, but in the 28th verse it says, and we know that all things work together for good for those who love God and those who are called according to his purpose. Do you realize the pit that they threw him was the only trail of the place where the merchants were headed to Egypt, which was the destination that God had to get Joseph to? If they had taken him anywhere else, 10 miles, 5 miles a different direction, he would not have been taken to Egypt. But because God had allowed this all to take place on this one thin strip of place where they walked through on those camels, they found those people going directly to Egypt. The story goes on with Joseph. For those that maybe don't know, he got sold into slavery, became number one in the house where he was serving, got falsely accused, thrown in prison. While he was in prison, he became number one in the prison house. They trusted him. Pharaoh had a dream. Joseph interprets the dream. This is really fast forward. And at the end, he became number two only to Pharaoh over all of Egypt. He devised a plan that God had showed him to be able to preserve food, that people from other countries came to Egypt to survive. This little boy who had a dream. Now, here's the kicker. Remember the dream that his brothers and sisters, or brothers and mom and dad, were bowing down to him? During the famine, while Pharaoh and Joseph were working together to save the people, his brothers came. Oh, see, my time is up. I still can't talk fast enough. Okay. So they came before him. The brothers came looking for food. They got there, and there's a whole drama. I'm telling you, Luke and Laura, General Hospital, right in here. It all comes together. So when Joseph finally reveals to his brothers who he really is, the brothers are like heartbroken, like, we left you for dead. We sold you to slavery. Oh my God, you could kill us right now. But Joseph says these words. He says in Genesis chapter 45 and verse 5, it says, but now, do not therefore be grieved or angry with yourselves because you sold me here. For God sent me before you to preserve life. It could be possible that wherever you find yourself, whatever circumstances you are in the middle of, whatever pit you see yourself in, you may be looking at walls of dirt that you think you will never, ever get out of. But God uses even the worst of things to make his plan, your dreams, come to truth, to come for real. I encourage you, instead of taking the route of blaming or victim, like, oh, why me? Look to God. Ask him, God, what's going on? I may not understand it. This is my story with my life right now. My husband passed away last year in September. Hardest thing I've ever had to go through. I'm still going through. But in the middle of that, I don't understand, and I don't know why, and I thought I did all the right things, and I thought I stood in faith, but God has a plan that I don't fully understand yet. So I stand with you in a pit, and I have to trust that there is a God big enough and loves me enough that even in the middle of this, he's working it all together for the good. There is something for you. It's not done. It's not over. I speak life into you this morning. That dear 2022, this may not be what I saw, but I have a God who sees it all. Amen. 2 questions for you as you get together with your groups and you have your discussion. The 2 questions are there any unfulfilled dreams that seemed as though they were God-given or super important at some time? And just name one. You may have 1,000 to start a business, to be a millionaire one day. I don't know what it is, but whatever those are. Number 2, how could you see your current circumstances be a part of the purpose of God? Be blessed and have a great conversation. Thank you.